kinds of animals than you've ever seen. They'd run around and play while the earth was being formed. But the loveliest of all was the unicorn. The green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. He says, stand back.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to 9 o'clock live. How's everybody doing?
Flawless sound selection, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, you're limited into how many songs there are just out there in the canon about unicorns, and I feel like I found the best one.
It does sound pretty good. I only caught a little bit of it. Hopefully.
Oh, well, by all means. Here we go.
Yeah.
Noah was there to answer the call. He finished putting
Say less, fam.
just as the rain started falling. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called out as they went through. Hey, Lord, I got your green alligators and long-necked geese, your humpty-back camels and your chimpanzees, your cats and rats and elephants.
I had to put my phone down and do a bit of a jig for a minute there.
All right, my Irish is coming out too much. We got to stop that. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Fun fact, every white person has a little bit of Irish inside them. We are looking at the auction for the NounsDAO today. There is a NounsDAO auction for Noun 565. It's a beautiful, greasy unicorn. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so you can probably hear that. Hopefully not getting too sick or anything, but the show must go on. I'm on nounoclock.app, and you can see a bid of 31.69 currently for this beautiful unicorn, which it wasn't even really fair. When you get the unicorn trait, it pretty much always gets FOMO'd, and when you get the grease trait, it doesn't matter what ugly noun it might be on, it always seems to get picked as well. So, I mean, greasy unicorn, nobody stood a chance up against it. I'm surprised to see it only hitting 31.69. I think maybe we'll get some last-minute bids here. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I don't know if Suicide's in the game. Could have been today. Suicide.eth was the last bidder before. Oh, no, actually, there's been more bids. This screen hasn't been refreshed. Never mind. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, Suicide hasn't been in the game since 4.2, but I'm sure he appreciates you considering him in contention for this now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I made it. Ben Body said I almost won this now.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully they get one day. It's a pretty provocative ENS they've got there. So, you know.
They have one.
Oh, really? They got one already?
They've got a now. They've got a 460 something, I think. It's the microwave with the green splat on the accessory.
You know, there's actually a way you could find that out if you were using 9o'clock.app.
Yeah, I'm on nouns.wtf. Well, not anymore. I've moved across now.
Oh, as Robot Fish Girl has been wont to say, get good, Ben Body.
Yeah, I know.
I love that I have dragged Dark Souls culture into this space. I am so happy.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dark Souls. I just know that to be Robot Fish Girl canon. So I'm going to continue on in that knowledge. 4 minutes and 9 seconds left on this auction. First of all, if you have not retweeted the room, please and thank you, do that. And we're going to make a draw at the end of this space. And one of you lucky mofos is going to win 0.069 ETH just for helping us get the word out about the space. I know, Abtosha, I'm getting a little spicy tonight. I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
Yeah,
I shouldn't
you lucky mofos.
I shouldn't say mofos. This is a family show.
Ooh, we got another bid.
Another bid. I told you this just hasn't gone up high enough. It's going to go higher for sure. Yeah, so do that. And then actually, I want to do a second retweet picker as well. So hold that thought. I'm going to pin something here. I've just pinned something to the top. Let's do a second bonus retweet picker. So 0.069 ETH as well to one lucky retweeter of this pinned tweet. It says, so you minted This Is Nouns, the first non-PFP NFT ever deployed by NounsDAO. What now? What's the utility? provenance, and community. How can you get involved? Easily. Join for a public AMA Thursday at 5 p.m. EST. Save the date, free mint on our Zora. We want to get the word out on this as much as we possibly can. Aptoshi, do you have a question for clarification on this item?
I just want to know what concert you went to last night. What's going on with your voice there?
I know. I actually just seemed to be coming down with something. So hopefully.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It must just be
I thought it was
right?
the
for a
Rose
fun
Parade
reason.
reruns. He's just in the lounge room watching the reruns of the Rose Parade, screaming at the TV.
Yeah, that's the
No.
nouns.
Yeah.
That's the nouns.
I've got to say,
Yeah, and then they.
I just complete sidetrack. I just got a new phone today and put Twitter on it, and I feel like I'm in a new world. Like this speaker is so much louder.
Ooh, like a better world?
Yeah, it is a better world. Yeah, maybe I don't know what it is.
The funny thing is Ben has been talking shit about Twitter Spaces since I've known him, and turns out he was on a Motorola Razr
Well,
this entire time.
yeah. I'm trying to do it on a 5110. It's crazy. No,
Oh my god.
today was crazy though. Like Twitter wasn't even loading for me for hours and hours. Like I just haven't used it all day because it just won't load. And then 20 minutes before the space, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna really stick this out and make it load. I got multiple phones loading it, and it took like 7 minutes for the first phone to load the home screen. I was like, what is happening here? But eventually I got to the Noun Square account, I opened the space, and then I waited the last few minutes so I could click the button, and I got in. So the lag doesn't matter if you're ahead of time. So it's still
Wow,
Twitter
I'm
stuff.
so glad that we got to hear this riveting story.
I know,
Ben,
it's
about
wild, right?
your new.
Well, I mean, that's just
But we are glad that you got We're glad you got an upgrade, though.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm
for
just
sure.
letting you know that Twitter didn't get any better, that's for sure. It's just the sound of all your voices.
Oh, well, I mean, that's something. Plus, Robot Fish Girl got like a super pro mic with the express intent of making
Yep.
the rest of us sound worse.
Yeah.
So
It's not just for that. It's also to finish a Will Sisters prop I have. It's mostly to make you sound worse.
it's not just to make you guys sound worse. It's also to make me sound better.
It is a fun
That
microphone
worst
because
part,
I can.
It's just a little small part of it.
It's just listen. There's very few things that aren't improved by Schadenfreude. I'm just.
Is that the brand of mic that you bought? Schadenfreude? I heard that's a good brand.
You know what? Yes,
German
it is.
made. German
No,
engineer.
I got a Synchro, and it's I love it so much.
Cool. I have, funny enough, I have a really good mic sitting beside my computer here, but I haven't gotten the adapter that I need to use it with the phone because Twitter Spaces has to be used with a phone unless you want to get into all that emulator shit. So long story short, this story is probably worse than Ben's story, but I have a mic that I don't use. It's beside my phone. So
I got the iRig Pro Duo, and it's fantastic. So that works on my computer too.
Cool. All right, 1 minute left on the auction. If we don't get another bid here, I'm afraid that we're going to have to go play a game called fomonouns.wtf. No, you know what? I'm not afraid. I'm excited. We're going to go play fomonouns.wtf. We're going to choose the next noun. It's going to be super fun. We did it yesterday. We chose this beautiful unicorn. Essentially, what's going to happen is we're going to go to fomonouns.wtf together on our computers or on our phones, and then you're going to see these potential nouns coming across the screen, and you're going to click either yes or no, up or down, whether you like it or not. And when we find one that we all like, we'll yell at each other and then vote up, and then we'll hopefully mint the noun together. So don't be shy. Come up on stage if you want. You can just request and we'll bring you up. If you're up on stage, take your mic off so that we can yell at each other with ultimate efficacy and increase the total chaos factor of the game. All clear?
Speaking of chaos, Ben, is that you clicking the Squirtle?
Yeah, I was going to say nanoclock.app is going off right now.
Well, I saw some people clicking,
If you're
so I
not
thought
on
I'd get clicking.
nanoclock.app, get on right now.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I mean, Ben just can't help himself, to be honest. 2, 1, 0.
Oh, we're playing FOMO right now.
FOMO.
Happy New Year was a couple days ago, but
Sorry, my bad. That's actually why I lost my voice.
Oh, that's a nice
All right,
bat.
this is actually quite a nice bat.
Yeah.
It's a nice.
I do
bat.
like this bat, but I want to play FOMO for more than 1 mint this time.
Yeah, true.
Okay, fair enough.
Or more than one block. My brain isn't working.
FOMO's doing that
We're
weird
trying
thing
to pick
telling
nouns.
it's telling me to click to enable voting, but then won't let me do anything when I click.
Yeah, you just got to refresh it. Yeah.
You gotta, yeah.
Have you tried turning it off
You
again
don't
and
want
on
to get
again,
on again.
electrician?
I mean,
Unfortunately,
It always works.
Where's NG when you need him?
oh my God, this is a volleyball going through a shredder.
Sleeping.
It's the new Banksy.
Yes. Oh no, Onion's trying to sell his onion.
CC Onion. This would be a great noun for Onion, actually. Who, by the way, said he was thinking about changing his name from Onion. I was like, no, we like the Onion. Don't do that.
Onion's
Yeah,
on the
I
block
like onions.
for 42.
What's that?
Onions make some people cry.
Onion on the block. It's up for
Oh,
sale.
I'm talking about Onion, the guy, Onion with 3 N's, the one that does the threads and whatnot. He doesn't actually own a noun, I don't think.
Oh, well, that I don't know. There's an onion for sale.
This is another volleyball going through a shredder, but he was alive.
There's so many volleyballs these days.
God damn it.
I think there needs to be a volleyball now. Tony, do you play volleyball?
I love the
This is
triple
kind of
bridge.
amazing.
Trogdor hot dog sounds like it would be an awesome
The
brand.
triple bridge on those noggles, though. That is.
Oh yeah, that's true. I kind of want. I want. Oh my God, let's get it. It's the Explorer.
Wait, Explorer. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, come on.
An Explorer.
Why do all of you hate FOMO?
Oh my God, we suck so bad. You know what, Martin? It's okay if you want to leave now. We totally understand. We don't deserve you. We had one job.
Hoping for that one. I was really hoping there.
Yeah,
so was the rest of us, but I guess half of the people who were voting on FOMO just didn't like it. That said, there are only 20 people on FOMO, and there's a hell of a lot more than 20 in this space. So what are you doing? Why aren't you on fomonouns.wtf?
It's kind of my fault. It's my fault a little bit because we were bantering so much. I didn't even introduce our guests. So maybe had I done that, people would have known to look for the road less traveled.
Well, let's quickly.
Hey.
It's Martin from Explorer, and it's got a road head. So if we see another road head, let's mint the road head. Now everyone has to mint the road head.
Hey Ben, if you could stop saying, if you could stop repeating roadhead over and over again.
I'm just subliminally
pirate ship.
roadhead. If you say roadhead 11 times, everyone has to vote roadhead.
I wasn't gonna.
Does anyone here know?
Oh God, I can't breathe.
I took some 12. Kind of mind imprinting class.
Ben, we'll remind you for the last time this is a family show, okay? We've got Matrix Pencil.
Yo. Oh
Matrix
God, I'm dying.
Pencil. By the end of the show, neither me nor RFG will have
another
voice.
onion.
I gotta record a lot of props tonight and tomorrow, so I need my voice.
Oh, that's a nice.
Oh, this is a nice toad.
Come on, let's get it. Nah, no, you don't like it.
I voted it up.
Nobody likes it. Okay.
I did.
I see. I won't take it personally. Oh, that's a nice factory.
An evil pizza factory or cheese factory. What accessory is that? I always think it's pizza, but it's cheese, right?
This is the Delicio now. The evil. Ooh, Doom Sasquatch.
Doom Squatch. This is the to represent. We'll mint this one when Sasquatch does a Doom speed run. That's.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say when he dies. I'm like, that's a little dark. Doom Sasquatch.
It's a cash register.
Calculator.
Yeah. Upside down.
That's how I feel about calculators when I'm doing my taxes.
Yeah, that's bleeding all over the calculator. That's like everyone in crypto even gives it a chance to try and do taxes. Like, oh my God.
Nice camera.
Oh my God.
This is a really nice camera.
This is a really aesthetic camera. I like this one.
Just a reminder to everybody here, there is an upvote button as well. It's right over there to the right of the downvote button.
No. For real, we're leaving some nice ones on the table here.
Yeah.
A clean looking
What are we
beer.
looking for? I feel like we're just downvoting everything. We're not. What are we looking
We're
for
looking
exactly?
for a nice clean noun. However, if we do see something to dedicate to our Explorer Grant guest, we could also do that. So something explorational, or the road noun.
Pirate ship
Road
already
noun.
passed.
The road noun. Noun. Road noun.
The noun with the
That
road
was on the float.
on it.
The noun with the road top.
That's a nice shot.
Yes.
Roadhead.
The road face noun. There we go.
Road face. Road face. I don't know. Road face somehow sounds worse. All right, we've
It really does.
Ask Ducky.
Highway head.
Somehow you made it worse. I don't know how you made it worse.
Oh, that's a mad.
Both inappropriate and dangerous. Another volleyball. Oh no, this is a lint ball.
You
Why
rang?
does the lint ball look so much like a volleyball? This is the volleyball after it went through the shredder.
Oh, it's got banana.
That's a nice banana.
Ex-copy nana.
Ex-copy nanners.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like this one. I just like the ramen head.
Yeah, it's good. Hey,
Don't mint it. It's
Trying
not
to get a
good.
food now, ramen.
ramen bowl for roast bowl. Nah, not today.
Ooh, cow wall.
Nobody wants it. It's not even
Nobody
on the
wants it.
list.
not my best work. Cow wall.
Greasy Game Boy. This is a Game Boy where the batteries are like too old, where you didn't play the Game Boy for a while. You found it in a drawer.
You mean a Game Boy that you didn't play for 2 days, right?
I hate potatoes.
The batteries would immediately corrode as soon as you put them in.
The Game Boy actually makes me really happy because I've been playing old Pokemon games on emulators recently. Oh, this is nice.
Wow.
That's a pretty stumpy bonsai.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I really like this one.
Okay, guys. Next nice noun. We really have to mint it. We might get rubbed by the person who bought this noun, and we can't really blame them if that happens. So let's find something nice. Who bought this again?
Go to 7 a.m.
This person
OX Neza? Yeah, they have a pillow now.
I like how the diamond looks like or the ruby looks like it's coming out of the shrimp head.
That's nice. Oh, that's a nice.
Oh, good kangaroo.
This is a nice roux. They own Neza owns a 416, the super clean CC pillow. Hey, we got it. This is a nice roux. I really like this one.
And Australian.
Its glasses are a bit off. I wish the shade of the glasses was the same with the shirt. It would have been nice. But anyway, this is good enough.
It's triggering my OCD for sure, but it's not terrible.
Asphalt coffee is available.
We've actually got Nomo to play now.
All right.
So we're Nomo.wtf. We're going to Nomo.wtf, and here we're going to get this road.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Does everybody copy? We're gonna get the road for the Explorer.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Jeez.
Right?
I just love it.
You're so fast.
The ramen bowl.
That's the thing that.
The ramen bowl and the yellow background.
I'll join you in the ramen.
There's a lot of good
The ramen
ones, to
bowl
be honest.
is really nice.
Greasy Game Boy with the yellow background is pretty good too.
Right off the bat, this road is really taking it today.
I personally like the ramen and the Game Boy more, but I'm gonna do the road just because we have Explorer here.
Come on. This is your chance to say you don't want it.
I mean, we can go for the bonsai if you guys want.
All right.
Gonna win regardless. Look at it.
Trogdor didn't even get one vote about this show.
The Trogdor hot dog.
Yeah, bonsais coming out. Coming up.
No! My Game Boy.
Very close.
Let's go.
Ugh.
You guys wouldn't know if it hits you in the head.
I'll post you over here just the one rabbit. I'll try and
No.
No.
Yes, a nice rabbit in there.
All right. I
Three-way.
acquiesce.
Oh, it's
I'll go
gonna
for the
come
road.
down to the road.
I'm going for the ramen now, just because I want it to be a tight match.
It's floating over the
Mouse
body.
activated.
You know what we need, Ben? You know what we need, Ben? And Volk is gonna kill me. We need like tooltips that shows who's voting for which ones by their
Yes.
ENS.
Yeah, well, if we can implement the
The ramen
leaderboard of
versus the
points,
road.
that could
Right,
show.
sorry.
Shit, this is close.
It
Did the
is,
ramen
yeah.
cross the road?
Not any longer.
Oh my God, no! Ooh, that
Road.
was
Oh,
so
okay.
close.
It was a 12, a difference of 12. That's incredible.
That's
I'm not
wild.
gonna lie though.
The
I'm not
ramen
gonna
didn't
lie.
cross the
The
road.
road noun looks better as a nomo than it does as a noun.
It really
Yeah,
does,
got a
yeah.
nice yellow background. Exactly.
Change my mind. Change my mind. Martin, what do you agree?
I would love to see it as a noun. I only realized the other day that there was not a single real road noun, but it looks pretty good on Nomo as well.
Well, this
Okay,
will
well,
allow more people to collect it too.
also, I kind of like how it changed from. Well, no, it didn't really change. Never mind. Just ignore me. I was gonna say something about the lanes, but it doesn't make sense. So, it does look like it has a different mouth, though. It looks like the solid line is the mouth now, kind of.
Yeah.
No.
No. No.
Like a
There
Muppet.
is
I
a
think it
version.
does.
Like it's got a Muppet mouth now. You know. Anyways, it's a good Nomo. Robot Fish Girl, what's the point of a Nomo? Why would you want to mint one? What's wrong with you?
The main point is to support the Noun Square, but also we're working on utility for them that we did some voting, but that didn't go so well. So we're workshopping other things to do with them. But right now, 100% of the proceeds that you get on Nomo go toward this show and making it so that we can
To be
continue
clear, the
doing it.
voting was just a one-off, and it was a case in point of this is why we can't have nice things, because people, some very few people decided to abuse it and complain about it, and so we're like, okay, fine. If you don't want to be a part of this, then and be responsible, then we'll take it away. But yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely do have some other stuff coming down the line. Specifically, in addition, that I've been working closely with Meshup on, that I can't wait to show you guys when it's done, and it is only going to be available to Nomo holders. And based on how quickly the edition sold out, was it yesterday? Was that last night? My days are blending together, but I think
Yeah,
that was last
that
night.
was yesterday. Yeah, last night.
Yeah, that was last night, where we had a special edition for the Rose Parade that featured editions by Meshup. And I pinned it to the space, planning to announce it a little bit later. And by the time I got to the announcement, it was sold out. So, anyways, you may want to have a couple Nomos in your wallet for this edition that's coming down the pipe from Meshup. It's going to be pretty dope.
I wonder what it
And
is.
new index card. Madrowski got number 1. I got number 2.
Oh, man.
Al's not here, and I still don't get number 1. I'm mad about it.
Well, what are you going to do? All right, so
Cry.
we did our FOMO. We did our FOMO. We did our NOMO. That's all the games that we have here for you tonight, so we can dig right in with our guest. Thank you for your patience, Martin. Martin wanted to come here and talk about Explorer grants, specifically because the Prop House component of this program just launched yesterday. So, Martin, why don't you tell us a little bit about Explorer grants for anyone who doesn't know about it, and then specifically about the Prop House that just launched.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so Explorer Grants is a program that is officially started, or the application is officially open as of the last couple of days, but was funded, I'm blanking on the exact date, but probably about a month ago, to essentially tackle a gap in the funding systems that Nouns offers. So, as I'm sure many people know, the main way that a lot of things get funded for Nouns is through an official, on-chain prop, which has pros and cons, right? It's very official. It's great for big amounts where the whole DAO should decide on something, but it's very difficult for an individual who doesn't own a Noun to actually get funded. Then you have something like Prop House, which is much more flexible, but for shorter amounts, and you still need to have an idea. You have things like small grants, which is great for onboarding people. And what the Explore Grants team and I saw was kind of a gap in terms of recruiting talent. Is it feels like if someone is a really talented builder, but they're not familiar with Nouns and they're coming from maybe a different corner of crypto or not familiar with crypto in general, they might not know where to begin. And so what we felt like was an interesting thing to explore was, no pun intended, explore, but trying to bring in a different way to fund people, which is, hey, why don't we bring in really talented people, really talented builders and artists and creators, bring them in, give them some funding, and just let them explore, give them some guidance, help them figure out what they should be working on, and then at the end of the program, help them actually get a prop on chain potentially, or help them figure out their next steps within the DAO. So that's kind of the overall theory and idea behind Explorer grants. And what we have happening this week now is the prop house round is open. So prop house is how the actual application process is going to go. And I think the tweet from prop house or from us is pinned up here if you want to look at it. But the way everyone is going to apply is actually a little different than most applications. Everyone's going to apply through a prop house round, and then there's 5 grants that are going to be given to 5 different people. And one of those will be through a public vote. So on prop house, just like regular prop house rounds, nounders are going to vote on who they think should get one of the grants, and then the 4 other ones will be chosen by the team. So the team is me, Dot, and Jihad. So you can read more about us a little bit on our prop. But yeah, that's kind of an overview of the Explorer Grants program. Yeah.
Amazing. Ben Body, do you have any thoughts on the Explorer Grants program?
Yeah, I mean, this is something I think is valuable to the ecosystem. I love that people are exploring all these different avenues of funding and, having different perspectives on how that can work and stuff like that, because, I just love all the experimentation around all the different models. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any questions. I just sort of, I've just been watching these kind of things pop up, and and I think this is quite timely, because I feel like NSFW or small grants and DCS, which are like 2 alternative pods, if you like to look at it that way, kind of not as accessible as you would think so in the past, and I feel like this is going to just offer more options to people to, kind of enter the space and build cool things. And, I love to see it.
I remember this grant was for people that are not in the Nounish ecosystem. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It's honestly it's a technicality that we're trying to figure out the right balance, because our goal is to bring in new people into the ecosystem, right? If someone, if Toady came in and was asking for a grant, unfortunately, we'd probably have to turn him away, right? It's kind of clear that he's already in the ecosystem, right? Someone who's already getting funded probably shouldn't be getting another 5 ETH to explore further. But at the same time, by definition, anyone who finds out about this program, generally speaking, will already know about nouns in some capacity. So, and we're doing a lot of outreach in other communities. Like we've got a partnership coming up with Developer DAO, and then a few other kind of developer communities and Discords. But the distinction and where we're kind of trying to draw the line right now is, if you are actively funded by nouns on something, you're probably not eligible for a grant, right? If you're getting paid by the DAO or NSFW, Prop House, for some piece of work that you're doing, you're probably not eligible right now. But if you've just gotten maybe just one small grant or one little thing in the past, but right now you're trying to figure out what to do, or you haven't been funded at all, then I think that you are eligible for the grant. So, if you're in here and you just know about nouns, or you've maybe participated in some part of nouns, but you haven't really been funded as a builder, then you're 100% eligible. So the main exclusion would be if you've been funded by the DAO, in a somewhat direct way. I would say you're probably not exactly what we're looking for, but honestly, I would say maybe just apply just in case, because the benefit of doing it through Prop House is that everyone who submits their application, it'll all be public, right? And so we're not asking anything too crazy or private in there, but since it's all public, anyone who sees your application could potentially reach out to you and say, hey, like, I'd like to work with you, right? You have a skill set that is complementary or that I'm looking for, something like that. So regardless of your skill set or background, I would say the worst thing that might happen is you maybe lose, 10, 15 minutes that you spent putting together your application. maybe even less than that. It's really a pretty quick application just to get an idea of who you are and what you care about. So kind of a long answer to that question, but I would say generally our goal is to bring in net new people into the ecosystem. So if you're getting actively funded by the DAO, I would say maybe not what we're looking for, but everyone else is more than open to apply.
That does raise a question for me, actually. I've been wondering about, because obviously the goal being to onboard builders from outside the Nounish ecosystem. I guess, like, what kind of things are you going to do to try and attract builders to this ecosystem? And, like, what is there, like, a particular target market? Like, are you aiming at the NFT crowd, but not necessarily in Nouns yet, or complete outside of the ecosystem, kind of?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about that.
Yeah, it's a good question, honestly. So I think it's going to be a work in progress for us to figure it out, but I think it's good. It's a very interesting problem to explore because I think that the DAO has been kind of taking the talent that's coming in to work on things for the DAO. I think we've been taking it for granted a little bit and not necessarily actively trying to bring in new people into the ecosystem to work for the DAO. And we've gotten a lot of amazing people, but as I'm doing this, I'm wondering, oh man, what if we actually put a lot of time and resources into getting like really, really great builders to come in and like do stuff for Nouns? What would that look like? And I don't really have the answer to that, if I'm being honest. There's a few things that I'm thinking about. I would say the main thing is looking for, regardless of what they're working on or what their interests are, people who are in Web3, crypto, whatever you want to call it, and have that skill set. They're familiar with the tech stack a little bit. And I'm talking here specifically mostly about engineers, but we're open really to everything. But I would say generally people that are familiar with the stack and, could understand what Nouns is, somewhat rapidly, right? Whereas like, maybe your grandma or something would take a while to explain to her what NounsDAO is all about. So I think that crowd is more what we're looking for, and so that's where we're really going into these communities, and that's where I think we also need
signing
some
my
amount of.
grandma up for an Explorer grant.
I mean, you give me her email, and I'll be reaching out. If she needs the tenth, I'd love to have her participate. I think the idea is trying to go into these communities a little bit more and build connections and build relationships. And that's something that I think if we think long term, and this grants program has just been funded for a pilot, but I'm hoping we can come back and ask for a little bit more funding in the future if everything goes well. But I think these relationships with these communities and these kind of talent pools is something I'm realizing is actually going to take a little bit of time. And I think I'm optimistic for this first round that we will be able to get a lot of exciting people. I mean, just in this space, I'm sure that we would have enough people to give out the 5 grants. Just based off who's listening to this, I'm sure we'd find 5 great people to give a grant to. And so I think that's what's great is we already have a lot of people to get in touch with. But if we want to go even deeper and build more relationships with communities, some of that will take time. But yeah, generally we're looking at mostly like Web3 builders. But if you even zoom out, to me it's not insane that we would even build out ways to onboard non-Web3 builders into crypto through Nouns, right? And if you think about, if you take a bunch of amazing engineers from Google and you teach them about crypto and their first exposure is Nouns, where are they going to spend all their time? Like when they go anywhere else, they're going to keep thinking about Nouns and come back to Nouns. So that's kind of a very like long-term vision for Explorer grants. But yeah, long answer again to that question, but just riffing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think that's good because, like you said, it's you're going to sort of find your way along the way, and that's part of the experimentation that I think is valuable, because you'll figure out what works and what doesn't over time, I suppose. But the fact that it kind of supports people that are in the ecosystem as well and not currently being funded. I know of at least a handful of people that have been building and doing all sorts of things and haven't received the support they deserve for some of the stuff they've been building, whether they've applied through prop house rounds or for small grants and things like that, and just not quite making it through each time. I think there's some valuable tools out there and people that can potentially offer value through these rounds. And it just gives them another avenue, which is, it's really cool because, it's obviously, like you said, a lot of builders can potentially be taken for granted in this space, just because, you know, they're passionate and put the time in, and then realize, well, it's not really sustainable to continue building at this rate in NounsDAO without some form of funding, and then, you know, might not be as successful trying to get the funding. So I think like having more avenues for that is definitely valuable to who's here already. But yeah, and then with your targets outside of the ecosystem is, yeah, that's amazing.
100%. Yeah, I think just diversifying funding and yeah, I think sometimes the way I also thought about it from the get-go is the DAO has a lot of money, and so we can benefit from being generous with it to bring in new talent, and do a lot of good long term without having to think about really short term, kind of like what's our return on our capital, right? A company has to think very short term and has to think, hey, with this 10 ETH, you know, how are we going to get 10 ETH back, if not more, because it's a company. With NounsDAO, with CC0, with everything that we're, you know, talking about and thinking about here, there is something with talent of like, hey, can we give things to people and trust them and help them level up their career to some extent, and then in return they will more than benefit and more than return what we spent on them, in my opinion. So 100% agree with all of that.
Yeah, and that's interesting actually. It brings up a point, you know, kind of the sustainability of the model and whether ongoing you'll continue to you know, put on chain proposals to NounsDAO to keep funding Explorer, or if you'll figure out some kind of a funding model to keep it self-sustainable. You know, I don't think there's a right answer to that personally. I think it's valuable having branches of Nouns that rely on the Nouns treasury, but allocate it with different expertise to Noun holder voters. So I think both ways there's value. I'm just curious on if you've got any thoughts around whether Explorer would generate revenue for itself internally anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think so generally I think with I really have a lot of thoughts on sub-DAOs in general and how they could work. I do feel like having two proposals from the DAO, two kind of chunks of funding to me makes sense. Like a first trial run. Okay, cool, this works. Let's give you a lot more money, go explore it. And then at some point it's like, hey, after these two rounds, like you kind of have to figure out, you're on your own now. You have to figure out your own path. I think for us, it could be, that could be a possibility to spin into a sub DAO. The thing is, with sub DAOs, I mean, the big question is like, where does the money come from? And it's with Nouns, you have all this value, all this work that everyone across the whole ecosystem is putting in. It all accrues into this daily auction. Whereas with a sub DAO, it's only like a sub chunk of work that accrues into a sub auction, right? And so you have less capital that's just interested in that. So I think for us, the only way it would work, if you think about the grants and like potentially any sort of like, to me, the long term is almost more like a talent matching, where like grants is just one part of that. If you think about talent matching, then maybe there's an element of like companies paying NounsDAO to basically like recruit talent and then redirect it, but then it's not clear how that benefits Nouns in the long term, other than maybe just being a good hub of talent. I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. The question is just like, yeah, where's the money coming from? And so either you have a product or a service or like basically some form of business, which is like maybe Nouns becomes like some sort of like recruiting hub type thing. I don't know exactly what that looks like. Or we spin out into like some entirely different thing that does a daily auction. But I'm not super optimistic about the ability of those outside of Nouns to like gather enough. And it might just be actually best for us to continue like sticking to Nouns, because, for example, let's say, so we asked for, without the kind of administration costs, we're funding 10 ETH grants, right? So that's 50 ETH. That's basically 2 days worth of auctions. The question is, if you take 5 builders and they work on stuff for 2 months each, are they creating enough buzz? Are they doing enough interesting things that it basically like motivates or generates like a day and a half worth of like capital? And to me, if the program is running well, that's like a very obvious yes. Like it's very clear that, you know, 5 builders like working is going to generate a lot of interest, and bring in a lot more bidders and a lot more money back into the treasury, basically, if you think about it that way. So I'm not 100% sure, but I do think for a while it would be come back to the DAO to get more funds before we go and do more, try to spin off into a sub DAO.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think you know there's obviously some sentiment from a few people that are kind of like just expect to see ROI from any spend from the core treasury, but my personal view is that Nouns needs it. Like it needs people in different like skill sets and different domains allocating the capital without the same core voters at NounsDAO deciding on every little decision. You know, and it kind of plays into the voter fatigue argument as well. You know, like there's this weird line where some people will say like too many on-chain proposals will like make voter fatigue. It's already hard to get through it all. But then like, oh, we need to decide exactly how to spend every little bit of ETH. Like it is, where do you draw that line? You know what I mean? I think it's going to take multiples of these kinds of setups to help allocate with expertise in different directions, because like that this same argument comes up as that some nouners are not going to have the expertise to even allocate based on their knowledge set or skill set to certain proposals. So it makes sense when there's like pods that come along that are willing to do that in different directions and take on some of that load, where instead of it being a number of rounds and a number of prop house voting rounds and things like that, it's, you know, that can be completely handled externally to the core DAO. And I think that's part of the whole model of proliferation and creating that fractal where we just keep building smaller and more focused versions of allocation, like capital allocation mechanisms, you know. So I think I think it's on the right path for sure, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I love all the things you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This reminds me of like in history we used to study about these people, John Speake, James Grant, that were given grants by the United Kingdom to go and explore Africa, and they discovered lakes and rivers. So this kind of reminds me. This kind of reminds me of that. That, you know, you're just calling on an explorer to go and figure out something. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's interesting. Hopefully, not the same downsides that those grants in the UK had for Africa, but I think the general idea of exploring to me was very fundamentally. It's like you should expect that nothing will happen, right? Like a lot of explorers go out there and nothing happens, and I think that's actually a good mindset to have for the DAO. Is, hey, let's give money to very smart people and just see what they can come up with. And I think that'll be much more positive long term than telling them what to come up with. So, for me, there's a lot of parallels to. That's why I chose kind of the road as the icon for exploring grants. Is like just get on the road and see what happens. You can't plan it all ahead. So let's just wait and see what these people do. I'm very excited to see it as well. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like
That's so awesome.
exploring out into the unknown, and then that's how you shed light on things, right? Like it's like there's more empty space of like unknown, just in general, and I think by exploring new directions is how we uncover new things and find out new pathways. So yeah, I love the analogy there, and it's interesting that Davin brought that up because I always try and figure out how to like see life itself and nature and the patterns in the world and in nature and how that how they can work as analogies, and those patterns apply to NounsDAO and sub-DAOs and different proposals and things like that, and watching it, because I think the more successful things will naturally follow the patterns we see in everyday life. I think, if it's kind of just like the Bruce Lee thing, like be like water and just sort of follow the patterns that exist in reality to achieve the next steps of proliferation, because it seems like that's what we're doing in life anyway. It's proliferating and keep expanding and keep growing things, and it's an interesting crossover to sort of compare the two, when you could just see this as like an NFT project. I think it's a lot more in depth, and the more we explore these different things, it's going to uncover more of that data. And I think having a project that, well, however you want to label it, a pod or a project or a group of people that's labeled as an Explorer grants, I think that's perfect for our current climate, where we need to try and figure out the best ways of the funding mechanisms, because clearly the on-chain proposal mechanism works well. But I think that can then obviously fund multiple things that can help the proliferation further, because at the moment you're only onboarding one new token holder and one new voter per day, unless they're fractionalized and expand that way, which is naturally happening as well. But I think it'll be a while before we see a huge amount of active voters at the core DAO. I think it's always going to kind of feel like it's a limited number of voters at the core. So it makes sense to kind of fractionalize the power into multiple different funding mechanisms around it. So, yeah, just interesting crossovers, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting parallels and thoughts there, and yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know if we want to wrap up around here, but this feels like maybe a natural stopping point. But I think that's it feels like what we're saying here is resonating, and so I'm excited for it. I think as we've worked on this, I was excited when the prop passed, but I've been more and more excited in the last week, as it seems like there's really so much interest in these grants. There's a lot of people trying to apply and learn more, and it feels like we're onto something. And so I'm excited to keep doing that. And thanks so much for having me on here to talk about it.
Yeah, pleasure.
I love hearing about this stuff too. Yeah, because honestly, I read the prop obviously when it came out, but I didn't really get Explorer grants as well as I do now after listening to this, and I thought it was cool. I mean, I voted yes for it in Nouncil, but this is far more interesting than I realized.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Makes me think I should be on more and more Twitter Spaces or something, maybe.
I mean,
yeah, I mean that's probably a good way to get more attention too, right? Like you're sort of talking about what you've got there and what you're offering, and attracting those builders, and sort of just trying to onboard more people. It's always fun too, showing up in just some random spaces and just being like, hey, I'm from NounsDAO, we run a grants program, there's ETH up for grabs, check out prop.house, something like that. You can never know who you're going to find out there on random Twitter spaces.
Absolutely. That's a good plan.
All right, cool. Well, let's Tony's either got rugged or had to bounce.
had to bounce. Yeah.
So let's jump to let's, I suppose, do the POAP first, and then we'll do the room retweet picker and give everyone a chance to finish the retweets. I can't do.
Well, we actually already drew the retweets.
Sweet. All right. Well, retweet it anyway for fun, but there's already a winner.
I'll do the POAP real quick for you.
Mm-hmm.
I said I'll do the POAP real quick.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So the secret word, it's a shame Tony left. It is Roadhead with the number 2 at the end.
So good.
God damn it.
We're going to be missing
I got it.
It's a shame he left. I was sitting on that the entire time.
Damn it. We'll just DM him and let him know what it was.
Yeah, we'll tell him.
Ryan, I got the roadhead. The roadhead works, Ryan. I just want you to know.
God.
Nice.
We're never going to drop this, are we? Let me get Brett up here. And while I'm waiting for my co-host powers to actually work, we've also got a retweet picker. So first, we've got the room retweet winner. So the winner of the retweet picker for the room for 06.0698 is Moon420. If you're still here.
Congratulations.
But I'm not seeing them, so I might need to redraw.
Really?
I don't see him either.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to redraw that. But while I'm doing that,
Well, yeah, we've got the other winner here for.
we do have the other winner here, and they are here.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So the other winner here is James. All right, James.
Congratulations.
Sweet.
And give me 2 seconds. Oh, is he here? Wait, is Moon, are you here? Oh, you're here. Okay, great. Moon is here. Never mind. I don't have to redraw.
The stage now, actually. It seems like they're
fantastic.
I'll be like, don't you dare give away my retweet picker. I'm here.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find you. You weren't showing up, and now you are. Thank you for requesting.
Yeah.
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 Thank you for requesting. That actually helps a lot. Brett, you I already pinned up the tweet, but you actually just finished something that you got from a Nouns Prop House round from us.
I did.
So why don't you tell us about it?
Yes. I was working all day at it. It looks like I still have to tweak the mobile site a little bit, but I won a Prop House round to set up a website for Noggle stickers. So anybody can now go to nogglestickers.wtf, and I put 14 of the different colors up there, and any of the profits will just go right back into the website to keep it up running for as long as possible. I want to, thank you guys for this opportunity, because stickers are something that I have always loved doing my whole life with, my own artwork, and I go through thousands of them myself, and it was inspired by Mike Good. I saw him put up so many Lil Noun stickers when I went to Art Basel, and I think this will just be a cool opportunity to proliferate the Nouns meme, even further.
Yeah, the website's pretty sharp right now. Looks good.
Thank you.
It looks really good. I'm so excited for Prof and I to single-handedly fund its continuance for the next 12 months. Aptoshi too. All of us put stickers everywhere. I've got 3 on the back of my phone right now.
Yeah, I've got a handful of them from when I met Prof down in Basel, and I'm gonna have to order stickers for my own website now. And
awesome.
I made sure to do both white backgrounds and transparent backgrounds for them.
Nice, congrats.
That is sick.
Yeah,
and they're huge. They go up to 6 by 6 inches.
Yeah, I added all the sizes possible for it, so it was 2 by 2 up to 6 by 6.
Nice.
Awesome.
I want to get some foot-long noggles, some big ones. Put them on the car.
I had those at my old apartment, and now they're in storage. But Aptoshi's got a hookup for those. They're huge.
Yeah. I've actually just got to order them. Yeah, I just haven't done it yet. I don't know why. I mean, it's crazy. I've got a bunch that I'm taking to Japan in a couple of weeks though, and probably going to order another batch between now and then. Do some stickeration, of the proliferation.
Yeah,
Get the noggles out.
and Ben, I did make sure to add Australia on here, so it should work shipping, everywhere.
Right. That's awesome. I'll be when people are like, "Oh, where can I get these stickers?" I know where to send them. Nogglestickers.wtf.
Nice catch on that domain too. That's fantastic.
I was trying to get
Yeah,
noggles.wtf, but it was already taken.
yeah,
That's the copy paste site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben,
Also supremely useful.
Ben, is that one of yours?
No, someone else has that one. Mine are all a bit more obscure. Do have some pretty cool ones though. Like I got a lot of nounish dot somethings. So like nounish dot clothes, nounish dot jewelry, things like that. But yeah, not a lot of like
Stickers. Yeah. Right.
inherently nouns or noggles.wtf. There's
I
so
think
many.
noggles.wtf might be Joel. I forget.
Yeah, I can't remember either. All right. Well,
yeah.
I guess we should wrap up. It's been about an hour now, and we minted some beautiful noun, a beautiful Nomo. Had an amazing guest. Thank you for coming. I think he's already bounced, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to re-listen to this space because there was a lot there that I need to baste in it a little bit.
You have some good edits to take, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it was definitely some
Yeah.
fun stuff in the beginning too.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun. I'm doing that tomorrow because it's 1 a.m.
Yeah, true. It's 9 o'clock winter on the EST. That's right. I keep forgetting because it's only just getting into my evening now. So it's going to be amazing for me because nighttime's better. Another 3 hours of drift and I won't miss a show again. It'll be good for another 2 months or something.
Honestly, this is better for me too. This time period when it's before I go to bed or in the middle of the night or right when I wake up is my favorite time for 9 o'clock because it's like I can focus all my attention on it. Whereas when it's during the day, I got other stuff going on that I've got to move around and I've got to be like, oh, I can't come. I've got 9 o'clock. So that I really like this.
Yeah, same here. I think nighttime's just better. It's like the brainwaves are just clearer while most people are sleeping. Maybe it's just because I've got kids too. They're crazy in the daytime.
Yeah, it's that plus your Gestalt mind psychic powers that you apparently have.
Apparently, bots only like to work at night.
Yeah. Also, there's time to be responsible to governance. It's like a couple of DAO meetings and a space or two before this space.
Oh, man, I've barely stood up since my 10 a.m. and it's 5 p.m. now because it went from the NAS board meeting, which was a 2-hour meeting, and then had a call for about 3.5 hours right after that, and then got some water, and then here I am. That's literally my entire day. It was just basically 3 meetings or spaces today. It's crazy, but very productive. There was a lot of stuff going down in those 5.5 hours of calls. So yeah, good times. Anyway, all right, let's close out the space. I don't have any music prepared. I didn't even think of that because I didn't expect to be closing it down.
All of the music I have is heavy metal.
All right.
I do have a song called Kangaroo, but it's by This Mortal Coil, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we got to play the Land Down Under or something, don't we?
I'll do it.
I'm pulling it up unless you've got it ready.
I already got it. I've already got it ready.
Nice. Yeah, everything's closed on that stuff. Thanks everyone.
All right, thank you so much for coming at 9 o'clock. Be back tomorrow. Probably going to be at about 12:15-ish EST. I don't know what UTC that is because my brain doesn't work.
A few minutes till 4:20 for me.
Ha!
Get your